Hello, my name is Alexis Johnson, and I am going to be presenting on benchmark organizational design, structure, and change about Starbucks. So starting off with introduction of the company, not that it needs much of one, Starbucks is the largest coffee roaster company in the world, and it was originally based out of Seattle, Washington. They have over 23,000 stores throughout 64 different countries. Starbucks is also known for ranking number 6 on the list of most admirable companies in the United States. So moving on next to Kotter's 8-dimension improvement plan. Each year, Fortune magazine publishes a most admired list about the top companies in the United States, like I just said. And firms are rated on these 8 dimensions: innovativeness, quality of management, long-term investment value, social responsibility to the community and the environment, people management, quality of products and services, financial soundness, wise use of corporate assets, and in the case of Starbucks, there's actually a 9th dimension, which is effectiveness doing business globally. Next, moving on to Starbucks social responsibility. Starbucks has encountered a few instances, particularly within the past couple years, that have somewhat had a detrimental effect to their business. However, as a result of this historic time, the organization has had to come up with solutions that have actually been able to combat these issues. Starbucks is an organization that is committed to social responsibility. Through this, the steps that the company has taken revolve around specifically inspiration, contribution, and inclusion of all people and organizations and aspects of them as a company. The Starbucks mission is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. It is the organization's vision to encourage and inspire their partners, customers, suppliers, and neighbors to create a positive change. Starbucks wants to be a leader in today's society, and I think that's why they have achieved the amount of success that they already have. Next, moving on to ramifications, consequences, and backlash. Like I said, specifically after a certain amount of backlash, Starbucks leadership was forced to take criticism into consideration and adjust some company policies for the better. The majority of companies' ethical issues actually surrounded racial injustices going on within the company that have been reported throughout the past couple of years. However, despite these incidents, the organization has made some significant adaptations to their business practices. First and foremost, Starbucks made the decision to actually close over 8,000 of their stores one afternoon in order to host a mandatory racial bias training. This was in order to ensure that the company is able to avoid similar and future conflicts in the future. Next, moving on to the Starbucks organizational structure, design, and culture. Strategic and carefully planned organizational structures help a business to run effectively and efficiently. Management experts use six basic elements of organizational structure to devise a proper plan for each specific company. These elements are departmentalization, chain of command, span of control, centralization or decentralization, work specialization, and the degree of formalization. Each of these elements affects how workers engage with each other and each aspect of the job. This includes management and leadership, communication, change strategies, and other variable critical to business success. Starbucks evolves to ensure that its organizational structure matches the current business needs in society. For example, the company adjusted its corporate structure upon expanding its business to actually what it is now through work specialization. The positive side of work specialization is that not only can it raise the level of expertise employees assist in improvement of special technology, but also it actually minimizes training expenses. And that's something that, like I said, Starbucks has actually struggled with in the past. Next, we're going to move on to conscious culture. Conscious culture is embodied values, principles, and practices of underlying factors that make up a business. Starbucks has been a company known to demonstrate this form of leadership in their daily business practices. Starbucks has created a plan to actually hire 10,000 of the world's 65 million refugees over the next 5 years in the 75 countries where they operate their stores, starting with the US market. The company put this plan together following an announcement from the president of the deportation of unemployed refugees. So Starbucks is just trying to help out in their neighborhood. Additionally, in the light of controversy that occurred over the past couple months, Starbucks has also enacted new policies that are put in place to combat racial injustices going on in the United States. Beginning with the nationwide store closure, like I mentioned before, that actually 175,000 of Starbucks employees attended that training. Starbucks has also contributed millions to organizations that focus on helping prevent racial injustice and combining communities together, which is what Starbucks stands for. This is in addition to the communities that Starbucks already supports and all around the globe. Starbucks demonstrates conscious culture that supports the communities that they are able to work out of, which is very admirable for a company. However, that being said, there's always room for improvement. So continuing on, removing barriers such as insufficient processes, hierarchies provides the freedom necessary to work across the board and generate a real impact within the organization that Starbucks works through. The use of Kotter's approach to implement the change across the Starbucks organization provides a change model that allows key aspects of this organization to be taken into consideration. These aspects would focus on customer demands and methods that cater specific to customers across each demographic that Starbucks works with. This will realign Starbucks resources in response to the business demographics that offer a unique perspective of services and products catered to the consumers. Continuing on, going through a couple more challenges Starbucks is currently going through that Kotter's 8-step improvement plan will hopefully help. As we've been talking about, it's no secret that Starbucks has faced their fair share of organizational controversy. However, they are working to overcome a lot of those issues. In the latest report, though, there's actually a new complaint that is being made challenging Starbucks, and that is the fact that Starbucks has enacted and encouraged customers to use mobile ordering, where customers actually order remotely, come into the Starbucks afterwards, pick up their orders, and go. And it kind of gets rid of the whole service aspect of going in and getting a coffee. The idea behind this is mostly to follow guidelines for the COVID-19 pandemic that is currently going on right now. But also this is a more convenient process for Starbucks baristas to be able to kind of take their time making the coffee and not have someone sitting and waiting in a line building up. However, this form of ordering has actually become so successful that it's actually leading to longer lines and very discouraged customers. Starbucks has been experimenting with counter stations that display mobile orders so customers can easily grab their order and go, but the problem may require a number of different solutions. For now, this seems to be the coffee chain's most urgent challenge, especially in the light of this form of ordering becoming more important and common, especially with what's going on right now in society. This also actually could put Starbucks at a disadvantage compared to their competitors. If lines continue to grow longer and longer, the reality is that people will begin to stray from Starbucks. Furthermore, the other challenge Starbucks faces in light of their competitors is lack of food options. Food sales at Starbucks make up a much smaller percentage of their overall revenue compared to their competitors such as Panera Bread, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's. Creating and offering more food would allow Starbucks to have an opportunity to continue to be an industry leader. This is just another aspect to consider for Starbucks if the company wants to continue to strive and put their customers first. The quality and passion that separates Starbucks from maybe other coffee house chains in the past. Combating these challenges and enacting these changes to be a solution will allow the company to prosper in the long run without losing scope of their culture and their brand. So they need to just ensure that they're keeping the customer first. Evident change models leading to effective team combinations unique to Starbucks will again be most successful for them in the long run. Moving on now to lessons learned. The advantages of using Kotter's 8-step approach on Starbucks organization, it's because it can help foster change in a more creative and efficient way. This approach helps actually create value and synergy from leadership down to the individual stores and teams and employees. Every company has its own distinctive culture and behaviors, traits, values, and mindsets that people in that enterprise share. However, cultures are complicated, made up of many different elements. In most organizations, culture and strategy tend to be actually discussed in separate conversations, but we're trying to stray away from that. Executives know that culture is important. Furthermore, that a negative culture can actually really hurt company performance overall. However, they don't know what to do about it in most instances, especially when that is the case, that the negative culture is having a bad effect on the company. Specifically in the case of Starbucks, this is one thing that leadership has actually been able to do very efficiently. Even throughout controversy, Starbucks management is still able to lead team members and employees towards being better people and being a better organization overall. Starbucks culture is actually so powerful because it is tightly linked to the company's distinctive capabilities. The cafe chain positions itself not just as a seller of coffee, but an experience provider. Starbucks CEO has always said that his goal is for Starbucks to be the third place in between your home and your work. The feel of Starbucks stores isn't created merely by the layout of how everything is or the decor that they have. It exists because the people behind the counter understand how their work fits into a common purpose. Continuing on to global performance, Starbucks currently owns and operates more than 24,000 stores across more than 64 different countries, as I mentioned early on throughout this presentation. Ever since the first international Starbucks coffee house opened in Tokyo back in 1996, the response was extraordinary. Now this coffee house giant is embraced by millions of cultures all over the world. Their international partners can be credited to the reason why Starbucks is the organization, and they say they owe much of their global success to their international partners. And that is why they are such a respected brand today throughout all different countries. Starbucks global performance focuses on 3 areas critical to the success of their business on a worldwide scale. These areas are leading in sustainability, creating meaningful opportunities, and strengthening their communities, no matter which community they are in. These are also 3 areas where tradition is respected in the country that they do their business. It's able to be recognized that company success is not entitlement, and that they continue to earn the trust and respect of their employees and their customers every single day. And so that is actually all I have for you today. So thank you for listening to my presentation and learning a little bit more about Starbucks in relation to Kotter's 8-step improvement plan.